friends. Nahom. Aries. John. And Yogi. So we have different perspectives here. Single male, single female, engaged 6 years together. Don't worry about me. Okay, so back to the question. Do you guys feel like there are barriers to dating? Like, what's the issue? Why is dating the ghetto right now?
You can't trust people.
Okay.
I think people expect different things out of dating. So you come in, and each person has their own perspective.
Okay.
And it's tough to match. So.
What do you guys feel? You haven't.
We haven't dated in
Yeah, it's
years.
been a minute.
I gotta pull the weight on this.
Yeah, you do need to pull it down. I'm gonna need you to give me a little bit more. Okay, so tell me about your experience.
I guess from what I remember, dating isn't always the ghetto.
Okay.
I guess it depends on, your lifestyle and kind of, if you guys are seeing eye to eye, then it may not be.
But do you guys think that people go into dating with the same, like looking for the same thing now?
I think it's age-based. Like, early on, dating is fun and cool. When you hit 25, 26, and everyone gets intentional and starts reading things like a man, it gets different. I'm serious. Like, after 25, 26, women don't want to hear all that. They just want, they come in with very intentional questions. And
Right.
It's a lot more pressure on the dating versus your younger 20s when you're just meeting to have fun and enjoy the experience going out.
When you're dating, what would you look for to be like, I want to lock it down with this person?
I think a lot of it's about timing. If you're ready, if you yourself are ready. I think for me, I rushed into dating people, and I just wasn't ready. I didn't have the time to give to be there for that person, and so I think if the time is right, probably what she said about someone who's a good fit, who matches what your ambitions are, what you're trying to achieve. So many different aspects, cultural values. There's so many different things that play into it. It's tough. That's why it's the ghetto. I think there's so many things that go into it.
Yeah.
Do you mean like locking it down in a relationship?
Yeah, like what would you want to see from a guy to be like, yeah, I would be ready to commit to him?
Well, I think for me, it's like, I've realized in my past relationships, I've been in like really toxic ones where like they've closed my personality and like don't really allow for me to be who I am, because for real, like I'm just energetic, really wanting to be out and about, enjoying life, and if someone matches that energy and kind of like really understands me for who I am and the vibe is there, like why not? So.
Okay. So it seems like there's kind of just a connection, either you have it or you don't, but obviously important things, right? Like timing. Now that we're adults, you obviously want to get serious. So on the other end of the spectrum, right? What if, you're no longer interested in somebody? This is kind of more, you guys, I guess, can tell me about what you used to do. But if you're no longer interested in someone, let's say you go on a couple of dates and you're just like, I'm not feeling this person. How honest do you feel like you have to be, like, to explain to this person? Do you even need to say anything? Like, what happens?
Yeah, I feel like you have to be honest. Who has time to waste at this age, right?
Yeah, I agree. I ain't got time to waste. And on top of it, is this like during the dating?
Yeah, this is dating. You're not together. You're just dating and you're not feeling anything.
No, I'm not going to entertain you.
But what would you do?
I would be honest. I would listen, the vibe is not there. I feel like at the end of the day, we should all have learned from our past. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to continue the same mistakes, we're not growing. We're not becoming individuals that learned from our past experience. So, yeah, if I'm not vibing with you and we're not kicking it off, goodbye. I'm sure you can find someone who will, fit you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem like the type that would just carry that shit on.
So what you're saying sounds great, and it sounds great logically, but from a female's perspective, I hear that all the time. I hear women say, oh yeah, we weren't vibing, they'll tell the guy, we're just not a match. And then they can just say that, boom, boom. From a guy's perspective, you can't really come off that harsh and be that rude to a woman. You can't say there wasn't a match. I know it sounds like something simple to say, but it cannot be taken properly sometimes. So,
well, here's the thing though. It really depends on how you guys are delivering the message. Because sometimes y'all sit here and say, oh, we're not feeling you, but then the next minute you're blowing up that person's phone. Yep.
Wait, the same person?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying I've seen those cases before. Like, so you also have to match what your delivery is. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying, no, it's not you.
A little directed.
Not you. But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of the times I hear that, but the delivery doesn't match your actions, right? So if you're being honest with someone and going like the chemistry is not there, I think it's only right for you to distance yourself, not to like sit here and feel sorry and go like, oh, I'm gonna check up on you. I still want to be friends. There's no such thing. Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, there's no such thing. Just cut it off. Cut the umbilical cord.
So the reason why I ask is because I feel like nowadays there's this whole thing where it's like you don't really owe somebody an explanation, especially if you haven't known them for that long. So let's say you dated maybe like 2-3 months, not even, let's just say 2 months. You've gone on like a handful of dates. Some people just feel like, well, I'll just stop texting, it'll fade out. And does it depend? Like, do you feel like that's something that you guys would do if you were dating and you guys now that you're in the dating field?
I've done that. It's happened, but it wouldn't be. It might be 2 months. I think there's such a. So nowadays, it's difficult to date because there's so many options. Everyone feels like they have so many options because of social media. So back in the day, our parents were dating. They can't look on their phone and see their 1,000 followers that are available to them. Nowadays, I think that's a little bit more accepted just because you see so many more people talking and then you stop talking, stop talking. You don't see as many starting relationships. And I think it's because of the availability of opportunity. And so with that being said, I think it's like, I'm not saying ghosting is okay, no, that's okay. I'm just saying it's happening on a consistent basis and people are just like understanding the vibe is dissipating and they're kind of not talking no more. And it happens often. Not saying it's right, or just saying...
Yeah.
Well, like the text phase out? Or
yeah, communication phases out. And it could be considered ghosting. I mean, when something like that happens, there's no conversation. So...
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's happened to me before where I've gone on a date. I thought there was a connection, but then we just kind of stopped talking. And, at first it's like, what the hell? But later on, you're just like, you're kind of thankful. You're just like, okay, that person wasn't meant to have my time at the end of the day. So
I just don't understand why. Just let the person know. I mean, I just feel like it would be closure for both sides. Okay, we're not interested, then move on. It's so hard to say.
I'm the moderator.
I mean, I agree with you,
Yeah.
but I also feel like maybe it's just me. Like, I feel like I've in the past had to create my own closure. So it's like I'm not depending on other people to give me that closure. Like, it's hurtful, but I also feel like I'm not going to waste my time,
Yeah. What do you guys do to make sure that you're ready for a relationship?
For me, it's like prayer. It's heavy. Talking to people, kind of letting out, my hurt, my pain, just kind of getting out of my system physically, that helps. And just doing things in life that's kind of mentally relaxing, whether that's exercising, playing video games, talking to people, just whatever kind of, like I said earlier, kind of brings you that peace, whatever comes with that.
I mean, I can't really speak to that existence, I feel, but because I feel like in the past, I've not been forced, but I've been like, this person has been feeling me more than I feel them, and then it's like, the people surrounding me are like influencing me. You should just give it a chance. I've never had that moment where it's like, I did the decision on my own, and I think after those relationships, I haven't been in a relationship, so I don't know how I'm able to like go on, like know what my piece is, or that makes sense.
I think John said something good. He said talking to people. I think you can't let go of something unless you fully express it. It's out there. So much stuff for me personally I held up in myself that I didn't talk about for years after a relationship that I would just express to a close friend that I trust. And then once you say it, you kind of feel like a little bit relieved. And if you don't express those things, you just kind of keep it to yourself. And it's just constantly a thing. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a hurdle you have to get over. So I guess just expressing yourself and then, like you said, being ready, being peaceful, doing things that you enjoy, removing all excessive stresses from your life. And at that point, it's just a matter of time, I think.
A matter of time before you find someone that you click with.
Before you're willing to try something. If you're free and relaxed all day and you're chilling, why not? Hey, what can happen?
Okay. I mean, you said something that I want to talk about where you were like, you know, when you entered those relationships, it was the other person that was feeling you more. So they didn't necessarily check off everything on your list.
No, 100% not.
But you still gave it a shot. Do you think it was, like, why did you do that?
I mean, I was young. I was like, oh, I want to be in a relationship and all this stuff. And, like, I think I was just carrying more of the culture factor. Like, finding your match, finding someone to get married to and stuff like that. And so, like, I was checking off the check marks on the outside, but not on the inside, meaning their characteristics, their personality, really looking into their mental health type shit, you know? And so, so I just feel like my gut feeling at the time was like, take it easy, but on the outside, everyone was like, oh, you have a great person in front of you. Why don't you just go ahead and take the opportunity? It's hard to find good men now, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I haven't had the chance to actually, ever since then, really commit to someone from my time, if that makes sense, on my own time.
Okay, with your own terms and your own new list that you have.
Yes.
What are some things on your list now?
To be honest, it had lessened than before. I think for me, no, I mean, honestly, I did have high standards growing up. Like, oh, I want someone, same religion, same culture, praise, has money. Now it's really finding someone who has a good heart. For real. Because that's the hardest part. You can be praying, you can be having a good job, you can have 5 degrees, but do you have a good heart?
Right.
You know? And so for me, it's like now it's really finding someone who connects with me because I feel like I have a good heart, you know, and I want someone that same energy.
You do.
Thank you.
Okay, what about you guys? Did you guys check each other's lists off? Like, John checked off your list, Yogi checked off. I know she checked off your list.
Yeah, she definitely checked my list.
I don't think I had a list. I really just went into it. I didn't even go into it thinking it would be what it is. I just went, I was just like having fun, just enjoying my life, you know, just being me. And he came into my picture and it just matched. And like, I didn't have a list. If I had a list, he would check all the boxes anyway, so.
That's so cute. Right here.
Favorite couple.
Right. She checked off your list?
Oh yeah, it was at the time, so just kind of where I was at in life, young in college. My list it was kind of short, but just, you know, I wanted somebody who was beautiful. I wanted somebody who was ambitious. Somebody who was, you know, big on family, because I'm very big on family. And just kind of somebody that can do the things that I like and be, you know, okay with that.
But did you know she was the one, right? You know, because there's that myth that's like, you start dating someone, you just feel like it's the one. And usually it comes from a guy, supposedly.
I knew that she could be the one early into the relationship. Like I said earlier, we dated for like 3 months. Yeah. So like month 2, that's when I kind of knew.
That's when we learned a lot about each other. Yeah, it was
and
quick.
Just kind of add like context behind like why it was so quick. I was kind of going through stuff in life, you know, like family stuff, and it was kind of like a challenging time for me. And I had just met her, but she was pretty much my rock throughout that whole situation, and still is to this day. So I kind of saw it early on. So I saw little bits and pieces of her that I was like, okay, she's showing potential. Because I wouldn't say that I was kind of alone during that situation, but everyone that I knew, she could pretty much hold it down the most. and I just met her, so I was like, why me? You know, must be like kind of heaven sent. So.
That's so cute. That's actually really cute.
That's why it was so fast.
I feel like
He has to
Because 3 months is like what?
no,
Weird.
What's the average to commit? Like dating?
I feel like
6
I
months?
don't think there should be an average. I think it's whatever the soul connects. That's all that matters. It
But
can happen
everyone's
in 2
like
days.
freaking
no,
out.
I was just no, but when he explained it, it makes complete sense. I think when you are going through those situations, people's values come to light quicker.
It's gonna surface real fast.
And on top of that, you already kind of know who someone is within 2 months. So regardless of my reaction, like you do kind of get to know someone. Like they said they were talking to each other every day.
every
That's
day.
60 days, 90 days. That's more than enough time to get to know someone.
Yeah.
So, that was beautiful. Shout out to you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys really are. And obviously, you know, with friendships and relationships, like when shit's happening in somebody's life, that does accelerate it because you get to figure out real quick, like, can this person hold me down or not? Right?
Yes.
So, like, what did it take for you? Because you were the one who was kind of going through it, but also, again, this question is for everybody. What does it take for you to recognize, like, I can be vulnerable with this person? Like, I can share my emotions with this person. It feels safe for me to talk to this person about what's going on in my life.
It's just a kind of a level of comfort that is usually like built over time. For us, it was kind of built fast because I was already in a vulnerable state. So I was kind of more open at the time to, express what I was kind of going through. So at the time, it made sense to me for me to kind of shed what I was going through with her, and she was embracive of that. So
for me, I was in one relationship. Like midway through college. I didn't have any relationships prior to that. And you laugh because you were there. And so during that situation, I went in like super like, oh, I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna give it all the best opportunities. I'm gonna just make this happen. And so I was resisting to be myself, and I was not fully myself. And so it's the counter of what you're saying. And so the whole time, the other person was too. And so the whole time we're kind of like in this relationship, but not letting down certain shields and not being completely transparent with each other. And it just continued because I was like, I'm gonna make this work. I was just gonna make this happen. But after I looked back, I was like, that wasn't cool. We should have been like letting everything loose and just being ourselves. So I learned from it. But yeah, that's what
I know you are kind of guarded, right?
I'm
like,
definitely guarded,
so
100%. And I feel like the reason why is because in the past, like I said, I've been in toxic relationships where I did wear my heart on my sleeve, and I was vulnerable, and I did involve them in like all the things that I was going through emotionally. And in the end, it was all used against me. And so now I'm just like, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I might be vulnerable with my next person. I might not, which also it could be bad too, because then it won't allow us to like build trust in the relationship. But going back to what you said, yes, for sure, I am guarded.
Right. You've been together 5-6 years now. Do you have to revisit moments where you feel like I'm not sharing my emotions with John, or I'm not talking to Unity about how I feel? Like,
yeah, I definitely. That wasn't just one and done. We're always vulnerable with each other, and I feel like we're always explaining how we feel. And I feel like when we communicate that, it brings us closer together, and it helps me understand what he's going through, and vice versa.
Is there like a thing y'all have? Like I know certain couples talk about, oh, we'll never go to sleep mad. We'll do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll never
I was
go
gonna
to
ask,
sleep
like,
mad.
because y'all give us the tricks. Like, tell us what you like.
Yeah.
I think it's very helpful because you waste time, you waste hours, days, weeks arguing or dealing with something that you can figure out with a simple conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And time is important, so you don't want to waste time wasted from your loved ones.
It could be so simple. It could be like, I'm just upset that you put the dish in the dishwasher, and it could just letting each other know what it is. We're so open.
We have a very open policy. Like if something's bothering one of us, it's important that we're
100% honest.
about it.
We don't hide nothing.
Because I don't like things being built up. I the type of person I would kind of bottle up emotions, feelings, everything, and then it'll lash out. and then I'll become this person that I don't like. So I'd rather just kind of get it out of my system and, you know, talk about it. And, you know.
Did she help you like get out of that phase? Did you have to keep kind of?
I feel like your mom. I don't know why. I feel like his mom like always taught him how to communicate since he was younger, and so he had that coming into this relationship.
Yeah.
If anything, he taught me how to do that.
Mom, hey, Mama Jones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He taught you how to.
If anything, I feel like he taught me how to be more open. 'Cause
100%.
I was like a reed.
She
Like
didn't
my
talk
guard
about
was
anything.
up.
We would go days without talking.
Yeah, I was like, and it didn't work. It was not working for a relationship. So I was
We had
like,
a point where we almost kind of cut, you know,
yeah.
cut ties.
Because she wasn't talking.
Just
Yeah, just-
lack of communication. Not only on her side, I take blame too, but it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
We, you know.
How do you take yourself out of that? That's hard.
I mean, I feel like if you really want something, like, you make the necessary changes.
True.
So we hit a point where we're just like, all right, like, what are we doing? Like, obviously what we're doing isn't working, so we need to do something to change, to fix it, to make some progress. So.
But what were the steps? Like, was it your mom's help that kind of got you out of that rut? Because people can want to do differently but not know how to.
It might be a while for you to remember, but I remember we used to have like an actual list that we used to have conversations and take notes of like.
Yeah, I would take notes because I'm so bad. I'm still bad at remembering.
Yeah.
What
So this is what we want.
I go to my notes and just literally write down what he said so that I can go back and be like, okay, he said, you know what, he wants me to be more open.
And then we will recap like a week later to make sure that we're actually checking the boxes, because if we're not actually feeling what we agreed on, then what was it for?
My mind was actually broken right
I can't believe you guys did
No,
this.
no.
Like, I feel like I'm learning about a new couple.
No, but this is like the work that people say
Whatever works for
takes
you.
into a relationship.
Yeah.
People always say it takes work. It takes work. No one ever talks about what the hell the
It's
work
so
is.
logical though. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because you're just gonna end up arguing about the same stuff for years until
Yeah.
you actually fix it.
You guys keep them like your notes. You keep them individual, or you keep them in a central place. And like, yo, my nigga.
This was like way back when. I think we had it on our phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause I used to be like, yo, we're not recording.
We are.
Yeah, this is content.
I'm
already.
like,
No,
oh my god.
this is the content, my friend. Go ahead.
My bad. We arguing over the same ish over and over, like,
You
yo.
can say shit.
And she's like, yo, I don't even remember what we agreed on last argument. I'm like, well, we need to write it down.
Yeah, because you can see.
And that's how it kind of came about. We need to write it down.
That is crazy.
That's actually smart.
It is very smart.
I think
Just
next
keep
time
those.
I get in a relationship, I'm gonna ask y'all, what are the things I need to do and not to do?
But this is literally it. Like, this
I
is
know.
it's part of this
This
conversation
is the work
too.
they talk about.
What is something that you learned that like you can't do? Okay, communication is vital.
Oh.
It could be personal, but something other than that.
Mhm.
If you have to give your two friends tips right now, they're going into the dating field, they're trying to find their person. What advice would you give them? Yeah, y'all are the
Good
gurus.
question. I would say,
That's why we're here.
Don't force it. Let it come naturally. I feel like I hit a point in my life before we started dating to where I kind of had this is exactly what I want, and kind of like how you guys were saying, I have to check all the boxes, and I was kind of hyper focused on, a person that may or may not even exist to my standards of what they were.
Yeah.
The second I stopped looking for something and I let it kind of come naturally, the second she entered my life, so kind of just like.
Yeah, and I would say also be open, because you might be looking for X, Y, and Z, but find like someone else that is actually meant for you, but you weren't being open the first time, so you couldn't find the person. So just being open,
Try to look for somebody with potential.
Yeah.
They don't have to be perfect. It's kind of like sports, when you draft a rookie, they're not going to have their career year, their first year. They can come in breaking records.
Yeah.
But over time, you see certain things out of them that'll prove to be worthy later on in life. So kind of taking that same mindset, the person that, I see, she's checking these boxes, or she's about this type of thing, she might, be worth it in the long run. Or he might be worth it in the long run.
Okay, so y'all have gone through a lot together. And
A whole lot.
Yeah, a lot. 6 years is a long time. And especially to do it during a really important period of your life, like your early 20s. now kind of end 20s, but that's a very important like part of your life, right? So this is something I always wonder about, and I would love your insight. And Arish kind of touched on this in her past relationship where she felt like this person wasn't allowing her to be herself. But how do you two as individuals like maintain your personhood and stay who you are, true to yourself in a relationship? Do you guys help each other do that? Like, you have to leave space for the other person to grow. How do you do that?
I feel like I don't know. I mean, I was always who I was when I met him, and I still am who I am now. And I feel like he's let me be that person. Like, he's never said like anything about my personality that had to, that had to change. Maybe like alter the way I like am in a relationship a little bit, just to help us grow. But as far as like who I am, like he's always embraced that, and I've never felt like I needed to be a different person around him or others, which is, I think really important in a relationship. So, I think because we connected so well that we didn't have those issues where I needed to change who I was at all.
You?
I think it's
I feel like one thing I really adore about you two is one thing that I really adore about you two, I think that I realized is like you guys never had to change, and you guys actually like would go out together in settings. Like we've had like friends who, for example, or anyone where it's like their other half controls what they do, and you guys never done that.
Yeah.
Like you guys allowed for each other to, have guy time, have girl time, or have combined time, and do things that you would do with or without in a relationship.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
That's the one thing like I really saw that like shined in your relationship is like you guys trust each other so much that you guys will allow to like go about how you were going about before. If that makes sense.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true, actually. He's so open to all my friends. He's always around. Like they became his friends and his family, and same for me. All his friends became like my close friends and family. So it's just like, why would we change that? We love everyone in our lives. So yeah.
Do you think trust is at the center of that then?
Yes. 100%.
So if you don't trust somebody, then that's when the control would kind of come in?
Yep.
What about you guys? You feel like you maintain your personhood when you were dating, like, or now that you're older, like you know yourself more?
I mean, I would hope I would. I mean, I think in my last situation, I did kind of become that item in that couple, and you're kind of wrapped up in that image, and you have to act a certain way. So it is refreshing to see that, like she just said, they are that way. They go out together, they have fun. And so I'm just trying to soak this up. I'm trying to learn, because I would like to have that same experience where you get to be yourself fully. They get to be themselves fully, and you have room to grow as individuals, but everyone also respects you guys as a couple too. So.
Do you guys, obviously you're Black, your D is Eritrean, right?
Yep.
Do you feel like mixed ethnicity or mixed religion even could work? Like, I mean, y'all are together, you're doing it, but that's hard. That's not easy.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not easy, or it can be, but it's not always easy. But I think we're true that it does work. It can work. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the mixed religion part. I feel like that's hard. We're not mixed religion, thankfully. So, but I feel like mixed religion might be a little difficult. I feel like, me being Eritrean, him being African American is obviously different, and a little difficulties that we have to go through with family stuff. It's for another subject. But we're making it work. My family is very open to him, and they love him. So, we all know that took some time to get there. But
I mean, that's real. That's real. It's not easy.
So
it made you grow.
What
Yes.
made it easier? So like my brother just engaged to his fiance. He's Eritrean, she's white, and so what helped in their situation, I felt like, was the siblings kind of coming around and kind of like making it work, like grounding and like putting their foot down. And so what would you say helped you guys to kind of alleviate some of those family stresses?
Yeah, I think it's definitely my siblings. I have 4 siblings, and the majority of them like helped me like get through this, because it was the hardest part of my entire life to get through that entire process, which took 5 years to get to. I didn't introduce him to my family until last year of Thanksgiving. It was hard for him, it was hard for me, it was hard for everybody. But I think my sister's helping out and, just talking to my parents, giving them an open mind, and then him finally meeting my parents. They were like, oh my God. They loved him. They were like, oh, he's, not as bad as we thought.
He's not no thug. That's exactly what you wanted.
No, honestly, it sucks, but it's true. Like, I think there are really negative preconceived notions that first generation immigrant parents, they're afraid to let us like fully assimilate into American culture.
100%.
They would want us all to marry Sudani, Eritrean, and like keep the culture alive. That's a big fear of theirs. Yeah. Did you hold off on introducing him to your parents because of fear?
Oh yeah, I was fearful for my life. I was so scared, and I just wanted to make 100% sure he was the one, because I wasn't going to introduce my parents to anyone other than my literally future husband. So I was like, I'm just going to make sure. I never introduced them to anyone. So he was the first one. And I just waited a little bit. I know it was really hard for you. I'm so sorry. I know I put him through so much.
I want to hear John's perspective.
Yeah,
to come into that
so
environment, and like you handled, like I was watching from a distance on IG like everybody else, but you handled it with such poise, and it ended up so well. So I wanted to hear your perspective. Like, how was it going into that?
Well, first of all, it took a whole lot of patience. The way I was brought up, you kind of get introduced to like the other families somewhat during the dating phase. Like your mom has to like somewhat approve of the other person for you to even think that it's okay to build a future. So coming to this, I was just hit by a brick. Like wait, I can't meet your parents. Like not even I can't meet them. Like they can't know about me. So it was like the most hurtful part of our relationship early on, until I understood that it's it wasn't up to her. If it was up to her, things would be different. And people were have a different upbringing than me, so I can't expect everyone to have the same mindset that I do. And me kind of being okay with that and finding peace in that helped me to last 5 years of
On your side, did you go for the traditional route you were used to, where she met your family at a certain time?
I think month 2.
Okay.
I took her to the church barbecue.
This is her.
Yeah, we were doing the electric slide, all that. Month 2. That's
I know.
Yeah, that's really hard.
And what made it even worse, well, I wouldn't say worse, but what made it harder is that, the relationship that she had with my family, her and my mom being like best friends, and, my dad calling her like his daughter, and, my siblings treating her like, another sibling. So I was somewhat jealous, So it was interesting. But here we are. I'm glad I waited. It's all worth it.
Right. How did you get through that process? You had to first of all, patience, right? But did you guys talk about it a lot? You feel like you have to reassure him?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I feel like we talked about it so much because it was always on his mind, and it was always on the back of my mind because I never wanted to talk about it. I just wanted it to just go away because I was so fearful. But he always brought it up, and I was like, okay, I need to do something about this because I love him so much, and I don't want him to just walk away from this because I'm so scared of what my family's going to think.
Okay, so now that you're approaching marriage, now you're adulting hardcore, right? Now you have to talk about real shit. Well, I guess, I don't know, maybe you guys have, but something that's big that I always think about is finances, right? Individual finances, but then as a couple, right?
Yeah.
How do y'all manage finances? Would you be with her if she was broke? Would you all be with a broke person? Maybe said no, really quick. No? Okay.
I've done that before and it was trash. So.
You took all your money?
Girl, it's not even that. Eat my money on my card. No, I'm joking. But yeah, no. I'm really spoiled. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So you want somebody to take care of you?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah. Go ahead.
No, this is for everybody.
don't look at it like yes. That's a tricky subject because you can get so tick for tat with that. I think you just have to look at the person and say, is this person ambitious? Is this person want to achieve?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you kind of meet that metric, then that's fine. You start looking at it in terms of dollar amount comparing, it's always going to be another person, and it's going to really mess everything up. Just look at it in terms of, are they ambitious and are they moving towards a goal?
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Wait, I'm not a gold digger, by the way. Just to clarify that. I'm just, off of what you're saying, like, no, if someone's on their path to, like, getting to their career or whatever, like, of course, I'll be your backbone. But if you don't know what the fuck you're doing and you're sitting here, sorry.
No, you can cut.
Okay.
Yeah, you can cut. We cuss all the time.
So,
But I was going to say, like, also counter to my point about, like, potential, all that stuff, I feel like there's a time limit to potential, and people can feel that way. And so, as an example, me, like, I've been in school my entire life, and so I'm entering my late 20s. I'm 28 now. And so you can be dating somebody if they're just in school for years and years and years, and you don't get to experience your 20s the way you want, whether it's traveling or all the cool things that you should do. You can be like, all right, I'm going to go get someone with somebody. So I see both sides of it, but as a male, I don't think you have to be as picky. As a female, I think that is a major contention point.
Do you think females care that you're in debt? Because I'm only saying that for him specifically because you're in pharmacy school.
So yeah, there's like a lot of school, but I don't see that as like, that's never on the thought process of like debt.
Do you guys care about that?
no, I'm in debt.
No.
I mean, for school. For school. So I completely
I think that's such a common
understand.
thing. It's a common thing.
Yeah, especially our generation. Like,
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
getting
oh,
ridiculous.
I mean, for school, I mean, all y'all are in debt. Shit. That's
Yeah.
just me. Oh, okay, I know.
John, you're in debt?
I know about shit.
it's
Okay, go. So let's talk about it.
Honey left.
Yeah, literally.
He's lucky.
Trying to switch. I got a couple hundred too.
Shit. Thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
about like,
How y'all deal with your money? Now you're getting married.
Yeah.
Oh, we did segue that real nice.
yeah, I mean, honestly, we're still trying to figure it out. You know, we're at
Okay.
the point of our relationship where we kind of somewhat recently moved in together. You know, it's been a year. I proposed this year, and then we're just like, so does she have access to my bank account? I mean, at the end of the day, we're both in the mindset of whatever I have is yours and vice versa.
Yeah.
But as far as like actually like, you know, down to the penny, we're still trying to figure out.
Yeah. Would you have said yes if John was broke?
Of course.
Yeah, I was broke when she met me.
Yeah, we were both broke.
Both broke.
We were broke.
It's different to both be broke though, because then you're like, you know.
Let's get these out there.
Yeah, let's get these hot. Do you guys think that like now that, you know, and again for you guys, getting married, how do you feel about like, you know, premarital counseling and having your community involved in your relationship, like people giving you guys advice? Is that necessary? Do you just kind of like keep it to yourselves? Like we're gonna figure it out together?
I think I'm definitely open to marriage counseling and other people giving us advice, especially people that have been through it, people like his parents or my parents, or my sisters who are married. Because I think like we can learn from them. We don't know everything. We're still young and learning. That's helpful.
Same question. Do you want to do premarital counseling? Do you guys, like, how do y'all feel about people, not in your business, but, you know, your community, people who are around you, giving you advice about your relationship? And
I mean, I feel like when you get to that point, you get married, you should be okay with talking to anybody at that point. You should be that comfortable with the person. I hope to be that comfortable.
with other people?
Yeah, I feel like I could use counseling before that. I could use some solo sessions first, but I mean, I think no, seriously, I think it's important to talk about these things. Like up until now, I've just been in conversations with my close friends that I trust, where I express these heavy topics that I just don't discuss. But yeah, no, I'm a pro therapy.
You look like you about to say something.
No, I just feel like he kind of mentioned like talking to his homies about, you know, relationship.
It's
I feel like those are
work.
so important. Like you have to kind of talk to your friends because I feel like they'll put you in your place if need be.
Alright, y'all. This it up, any words of advice to each other? Anything y'all want each other to know?
I mean, I just like hearing some of the things y'all did, like the work, the actual work, taking notes at meetings, having open conversations. I think more people need to hear that, which is why this is so important. We were just like tuned in. We just like, but that's important, and so thank y'all for sharing that for sure.
Of course. I'm trying to think of what else we did. You know, my memory is so bad. Can you remember anything else?
I mean, we have fun. Like, don't forget to have fun. You know, I feel like especially as you're growing older, it becomes more of a business and less of like, you know, excitement. So just don't forget to have fun. Like, we went on trips.
Yeah.
We went out together. You know, we're always doing something to, you know, bring excitement to our life. So.
And don't let that person like change, like the friend group you have now because they don't like X, Y, and Z. They should be, I feel like that's very important. I love all his friends, and I feel like you should be comfortable with his or her friends because they're going to be around. They've been around before that person came in the picture, and they should be open and comfortable with them, and you should help that person get to that place. Like,
if they're not comfortable, help them get comfortable.
Yeah, help them get comfortable.
Yeah.
So, again, just to wrap it up, anything you want to say, Reach? Anything you want to advise young girls? Dating girls, or even Yogi and John, like what would you tell them?
Yeah, tell me.
Arish is really good at advice.
Yeah, she's so. I always go to her for advice.
Right.
She's great.
She is. I go to her
Share
too.
I mean, be yourself. Literally, honestly, be yourself. Be confident in what you want in a relationship. Don't waste your time. If someone sounds controlling, that should be a red flag. And I think that's the issue with a lot of young girls is they don't realize that if this person's not kind of like, I don't know what's the word, like if they're not being your backbone and they seem to try to change you, it's not worth it. And I think I can literally name 100 people that I know around me who are letting their men control them, and it's not okay. I think you should just be yourself, and if it's not meant to be with him, it's okay. You'll find your true match later on.
Are y'all hopeful in the dating field?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not dating, so I don't know.
But are you hopeful in general about love and relationships?
I don't know.
I think I'm hopeful. Like you said, it's rare to see it, but like when you have friends like these and you get to see it, and you see it's real. It's not like contrived or just for like Instagram. It's dope. And so there's far and few in between, but it's out there. So yeah, your own way, which is like me taking my own advice. What he said was do things that you enjoy, remove stress from life, just be happy, do things that calm you, and then you'll kind of gravitate towards that person. So I need to take that advice.
That's good. You guys did great. Y'all were nervous about this. You're naturals, honestly, and your advice was really good. Thank you guys for doing this.
Thank you.
Y'all are so kind.